Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I about title today's video, here to show you the updated sigs for my 6'10 point center. Absolute just demigod of a build. And whether it's the new version or the old version or the third version, I mean, we got a lot of different evolutions of this build. People have been clowning this of, I'm on my Pokemon arc of like all the crazy evolution trees that we have of this build. But long story short, what they all have in common is 76 ball handle and 68 speed with ball, or a little bit more, a little bit less. So all of these things included that you have like listed right here between the dribble style, the sig size up, the breakdown combos, yada yada, the escape moves, the Hesis, all that stuff, and especially the behind the back are all accessible at 75 ball handle, except for Anthony Edwards for the Hesi that is 76 ball handle, just so we're clear. But anyway, I'm here to showcase to you guys all these sigs that we just now have shown you, and I'm gonna also show you how to utilize them in the best ways and which ones are the most important, and we'll really spend a lot of time detailing the ones that are the most important, and then we'll still detail a couple of the accessory ones. Like for instance, let's say the Zach LaVine step back is a little bit of an accessory dribble move, whereas the Tatum behind the back is one that I spam a lot and I do it a ton. Anyway, like I said, we'll go ahead and showcase all that in just a second. Now, I did say I wasn't going to overdo it or anything like that, but I do want to also show you guys real quick my dunk style. Now, this is going to be a little bit rattling to some of you guys. I have thrown on a ton of dunks, like a ton of them, and I've come to find out I think this is actually the way to go. I think you can activate a lot more dunks in a lot of situations. It will trigger them in situations that you wouldn't get them otherwise, and as you can see, I have all the standing dunks on. I got a ton of different NBA player packages between Simmons, Towns, Dominique, Dwight, Giannis. I don't have Daryl Dawkins on, and I don't have Shaq. They both have really troll dunks, as you can see on like that one right there, the very first package that it shows you of Shaq, where it's that little crazy cockback right there. And then the Daryl Dawkins, I mean, that just cannot be equipped. Like, look at this little crazy windmill that it has. That's so blockable, and it happens very consistently. So anyway, that's what we have for the dunks, as you can see, with, you know, classic typical stuff otherwise. And I actually don't even have the uber athletic tomahawks on anymore, just so we're clear. So a lot of this stuff is trying to keep it very simple for the driving dunks, but I want as many standing dunks as possible, and that's what we're getting out of these packages between Dominique, even though it doesn't show or look like it, but Towns, Simmons, all that stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to the dribble moves real quick, and I'm going to just break that down for you guys into my league. Alright, so here we are on the 6'10. I'm going to showcase to you guys the most important dribble moves and the most important sequences of what I do, and we'll just keep it as simple as that. I know with these videos I typically make them pretty long. This time we're going to just go ahead and keep it very simple and condensed, because I've shown you guys a lot of this stuff in previous videos, but I want to explain to you guys the best way to utilize these now that I've learned a lot with this stuff. So with the Tatum behind the back, obviously you guys are just going to be running forward, and then you flick down diagonal to the offhand on your right stick. This is absolutely one of the best moves you can utilize as a slasher. It's insane, and we'll talk about different ways to combo this and stuff like that too. But as you can see, that's the basic function of it, is just move forward and without holding your RT. I guess you can sometimes hold it with your RT too, but I let go of right trigger before I do the behind the back. So you're just going to be doing that, boom, to the offhand. Simple as that. It's a good way to flip the ball hand, and it's very easy to do. Now, I want to show you how to mix in this Zach LaVine moving step back with it and do a really like lethal way of comboing this. And you're going to love this if you're on some build like this. I promise you guys, it's the absolute gem of this video. So as you're going to see in this situation, let's say I have the ball in this right hand. I'm going to hold RT and flick down on the right stick. It's going to do that move right there. Now, this is your absolute sequence starter for everything. So watch this. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to move to the offhand slightly, and boom, you can transition straight into that behind the back instantly. And you can do it from both sides too. As you can see, we'll go to the left right there, and now we'll set it up to where my behind the back's going the other way. Boom. Yeah, like you can see, the comboing on this is very intense. And I mean, it's so good. But anyway, so let's backtrack a little bit. Hold RT, flick down on the right stick. Off that, you want to move to the offhand, as you can see. So like right here, I'm flicking down, and then boom, I'm going left instantly. Now, as soon as you do that, you're able to just go straight into the behind the back to that opposite offhand right there, and you're looking good. I mean, that's boom. This is a combo right there, simple as that. So understand, LaVine step back, you're going to be using that normal dribble style by just running offhand, and then because you did all of those two things together, boom, behind the back off that. Simple. It's a beautiful dribble combo. I absolutely love it. Now let's talk about transitioning that Zach LaVine step back into the pro crossover as well. So this time you want to flick up diagonal on your right stick. So it's not going to be that down diagonal we're talking about with the behind the back. It's up diagonal, and you're going to get the tween. We don't like the normal crossover you get with the pro. I want it for the tween. And as you can see right here, we're going to set this up for that tween, and boom, it's gonna just absolutely jolt us forward right there. I mean, I just love that stuff, bro. So I'm a lot better at doing the tween to my right hand for some reason. Like, I can get it really quickly like that, but if I go left, I sometimes get that crossover more consistently. But as you can see, I mean, this is very quick. Like, you're getting some glitchy movement forward, and as you can see, that's the crossover in accident, because like I said, I'm a little bit better going to the right than I am to the left. It's just angles. I don't know why I'm so much better at going to the right than the left. But anyway, as you can see, like, that's what it looks like when you just keep chaining it, moving forward together. I mean, bro, they look lethal for sure. So anyway, those are my main, I would say, downhill dribble move combos and stuff like that. Besides that, we obviously have the blowout dribble. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this, but as you can see, to do this, you just tap RT while you're running to that offhand. Besides that, I wanted to also show you this Anthony Edwards Hesi. So if you're holding RT and you flick to that ball hand with your right stick, boom, you can get a pretty good speed boost out of this. But what it's mainly for as well is when you're in this open court area, check this out. Like, you're just gonna flick to that ball hand and boom, you can just absolutely get this crazy big dribble move right here. So again, this is just flicking your right stick to the ball hand, and all you have to do is just be moving laterally. It's ideally more in the mid-range area. You can still do it on the three-point line, and you can do it like coming down the court, but it will get a little bit dicey if you're not moving like enough backwards or lateral. Like, let's say if I do it coming up the court right here, if I try and do that Hesi, it's not gonna do it. Like, that's the dribble move I'm getting on that, instead of doing it like, you know, the backwards and lateral movement of it, doing it like this. So yeah, it's looking really good with that. Not to mention, one of the moves that I like to do quite a bit as well if I'm doing this mid-range ISO is if you flick to the like right on your right stick right here and then just run to the offhand, you're gonna get some movement that's very explosive for some reason. It's like a ridiculous rate of explosion if you compare it to, let's say, just the normal dribble style running offhand. And I still do this a lot too, like just this little crazy random zigzag right here of just moving offhand to offhand to offhand. It can still move pretty good. Like, you can really get a lot of quick speed boost out of it, and I would argue it's actually a very good dribble move to just go to. So if you have the normal dribble style, boom, you can just get moving like that really consistently. So that's one of our combos that we're looking to. I want to show you one more thing that has to do with that Zach LaVine behind the back. So I've shown you guys really like recently what this step back floater looks like with Sabonis. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Sabonis floater because not everybody has it, but if you have any other floaters that are decent, if you happen to be like a swing, or if you happen to also have decent ones for a big, like Jokic is doable, but it leans forward a little bit. Anyway, what I want to show you though is if you flick down on the right stick with no sprint, you can do this step back, and it's going to extend the range on your floater. Now also, as you can see, I dropped my layup to like 30, so I could lab my floaters a little bit more. So I'm like really trying to get that precision on, as you can see, like stuff like that. Not to mention too, I actually kind of want to show you guys this. So if you want to figure out how to just do floaters from a standstill position, like if I hold X right now, as you can see, it leans in and it gives me that kind of, you know, garbage layup if you have someone right in front of you. Whereas if you're still in this close shot range right here, you can hold back on your left stick, aka away from the basket, and then just hold X, and boom, you're gonna get that little floater right there. Now, as you can see, I kind of missed that one, but again, I really do recommend, if you're gonna hop in this My League stuff, put your ratings lower. It's gonna absolutely teach you the timing, and you don't have that gigantic window that you normally would, and it's gonna give you a lot more practice on the timing with it. So other than that, we have a couple more chains that I want to show you, but for the most part, we've gotten to the nitty gritty of my dribbling. It's been very much showcased so far. So other than that, we have this explosive behind the back. So you're going to hold RT and you're going to flick to the offhand with your right stick. And as you can see, you can get this really big behind the back. Now, sometimes it will give you that really garbage move right here, as you can see. So it's a little bit hit or miss. You don't want to resort to this way too consistently, but now if you mix that in with the blowout dribble as well, sometimes you guys may see this in my gameplays where if I'm trying to quote unquote show them something they've never seen before, that's the line that I use for that, because I promise you nobody's ever seen a half court blowout dribble. But I try to do this because if you just do this from a standstill position, it's kind of hard, as you can see. Like I just tried to do a blowout to the right there, and it's not exactly working. So what I like to do first is do that big behind the back and then hit RT and boom, go into a blowout dribble, and it's in the half court. If you start it from really far back, it's going to be enough spacing to actually be able to avoid someone that's maybe sitting at the top of the three-point line. But like, long story short, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to do that and then hit the RT, boom, you're going straight into blowout dribble from there. It's looking really good. So let's quickly just transition over to a different thing. I want to talk about escape moves and behind the back standstill. So like you're kind of standstill comboing essentially. Now, I don't do a lot of this. I don't do a lot of standstill comboing. People get on me tight because I got low ball handling stuff. They go for crazy amounts of steals. I just generally lean toward passing to a corner, give and go, and the dude gets punished for playing super high on me and reaching, you know, because I'm a huge like slasher essentially. But what I do like for these standstill combos is with the escape moves, if you hold RT and flick your right stick directly like to the right or also like up to the right sometimes, you'll get this little double step back with Giannis. Now, the thing is, if you do it twice in a row, as you can see, it's going to give you that crab move. It's essentially what guards like to do when they try and go for that crab. But for me, I don't like that move. I want to just kind of consistently chain, right? So to do this kind of a chain right here, and you can do it as fast as you want as well, you just have to go up diagonal and then down diagonal. That's all you got to do. You can't do one thing twice, because if I go down diagonal twice, it'll give me that right there. It's going to hitch. Like this is what it looks like if I go down diagonal constantly over and over again. And I already showed you if I go up diagonal constantly, it's going to do this right here where it's like it's moving in too much. It's doing that crab move. I don't like how, you know, unresponsive it is sometimes. I just like when I'm going diagonal, diagonal, but it's up diagonal, down diagonal, up diagonal, down diagonal, up diagonal, down diagonal. So it gives me that little ability to do that. And again, it's just mainly me flipping the ball hand in anticipation of trying to get that like Zach LaVine step back where I want it to be. So again, just understand with that LaVine step back, you really have to practice it a lot to understand how you want to utilize it the most. So let's say because the ball is in my left hand right now, if I do that LaVine step back, that means I want to do it to set it up to move left again. But because I'm moving left again, that means the moving behind the back is going to be moving from left hand to right hand. So like I said, it's very complex that, you know, I'm doing it like that, where I'm understanding that because it's in the left hand right now, that means I want to set the movement up to go left again, but then I'm gonna do it to snap it back the other way. So you gotta understand your rhythm and sequences when it comes to doing stuff like this. It's very different than anything else I've ever done before. But yeah, long story short, what I was trying to say with the escape moves in the behind the back and stuff like that, you want to be able to maybe set it up to the way that you want to do the LaVine step back to transition you into your other moves between the pro crossover and the Tatum behind the back. So yeah, long story short, as you can see, all this stuff is mainly just me trying to get into sequences of doing that LaVine step back, and it gets into a lot of different things that I like to do between the pro crossover and then the Tatum behind the back as well. So anyway, that's the majority of the video, to be honest with you guys. I think that's generally everything that we usually go over. I don't have a ton of other moves that I really go to for the most part. Besides that, like I said, it's just a lot of this like back and forth stuff, to be honest with you. I mean, it's very easy to just dribble quickly on a build like this, and you can really get moving with it. Honestly, there's nothing else to it other than very simple basic dribble styles, and to get kind of like nasty with it in the half court for sure, like with those little combos that I have right here. But like I said, it's very easy once you like really get a hang of this. I'm not making too many cuts or anything like that, showing you guys how I'm doing stuff like this, like between, you know, all of that stuff, and then let's say I wanted to do the behind the back right here as well. I mean, all this is very simple combos, to be honest. But anyway, that's all video. I hope you enjoyed. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, tell them noties, all the good stuff, and like always, try to 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of this video, put dribble or put combo in the comments. Search sports my way through. But anyway, just wanted to give you guys a quick little update on all the dribble moves that I have been utilizing lately. Obviously, we didn't even talk about the sig size up, but I don't really care for it too much. If you want to utilize this, the reason I have Luka is because it chains a little bit quicker. So you just flick down diagonal with no sprint and it'll do a signature size up. If I had a better access to like more sigs, I would definitely be using sig size ups, but honestly for the bigs, they're pretty trash. And then I guess, matter of fact, I'll go back into this real quick and show you guys the breakdown combos, because they actually work a little bit in terms of transitioning into the paint. But other than that, we went over everything. The moving crossover for the tween right there, and then the Tatum behind the back, whether it's standstill or the driving, that would just showcase both right there. The Zach LaVine step back for the stepping back into the floaters, and also the step back chain for the dribble moves. The Hesi with Edwards, whether it was the standstill or the, you know, moving one. I don't care for the spins at all. So yeah, we'll just go back in real quick and I'll show you guys the breakdown combo and the aggressive breakdown combo too. Now, most of this is mainly for also mashing, or let's say the setting up the step back floater. So let's say I'm standing right here on this like spot, and let's say I walked right into it, but if you sprint into someone in the paint, you're gonna get a nasty bump, boom, a movable enforcer, you fumble the ball. If you do this instead, where you hold RT and flick up on the right stick, as you're going to see, we do a little walk down into the paint. I can pump fake and then go straight into a dunk meter from there. And it's actually a very good way to access that, because it's not something you just get ran into or bumped. So if you're being guarded by a center, you can walk them into the dead zone really well doing that. Now, what I like about that too is it has very aggressive downhill movement for this. So as you can see, I get like the step backs with it, and then boom, it'll get me into that range where I can get into that step back floater. Because as you guys can see, if I do it from too far away, this is too far, and it gives me a hop jumper instead right there. And as you can see, I don't want that, because if I'm on a 25 mid-range build and an 88 driving lay, we want to do it in ranges of that free throw line. So boom, it sets me up really good for getting downhill into this area, but sometimes it's a little bit too aggressive. And what I want to do instead is that regular breakdown combo, which is just flicking up with no sprint. And what I like about this is if you flick up, you can watch the chain play out and then start a whole nother one. And long story short, what you're gonna see with this, if I let's take it from the top real quick. So people might think I'm doing this to get into floater range, but I can cancel it at any point and run offhand. So like, let's say boom, two dribbles. We'll go 1 dribble right here, so it's going the other way. We'll do 3 dribbles, so we're going back to the left again. We got 2, so it's going back to the right. You can do this and transition into the offhand dribbling so quickly and well, and I love it. And it's still pretty good for if you want to do multiple combos of it to get down in here into that floater range. So like if I'm standing right at the free throw line, we're going, we'll let it play out to 3, and then I'll go with the step back floater, you know, stuff like that. Not to mention too, if you guys ever see people start to read out your floater, I'm gonna just go ahead and like flick down on the stick, and we'll just run offhand with it if he tries to jump out or like, you know, come out really far to contest it with the hand up. So there's a lot of checks to this stuff. I have a lot of fun with this. Last thing, I know I've been kind of detailing a lot of stuff for you guys right here, but I want to help as much as I can. So let's explain, like, you know, why I even have this set up in the first place, why I have a close shot cold zone, or a mid-range cold zone right here, and then I have hot zones on the hashes. So if I do the Sabonis layup and I do the floater through the middle, it gives me a running hook sometimes. I'm gonna try and get this animation to pop for you guys real quick. So it's like that animation right there. I get that running hook and I hate it. I don't like it. It's really bad. And that's the reason why the hot zones are kind of hard to retain in the middle sometimes, because they're really troll animations. It's not very dependable. Whereas if I'm on the left hash right here, and as you guys can see in my gameplays more often than not, if you attempt these like takes on the left right here more consistently, you're never gonna get that stupid troll animation at all. It's always gonna be a clean, perfect animation that's always gonna be a long range floater, and you don't have to worry about it. Same goes for the right hash. If I'm going right hand and I'm going into the, like, you know, right side right there, it's always gonna be a clean animation that you don't have to really worry about. Simple as that. It's never gonna troll you. Same even goes for the corners right here. Like if you go like at this range, this angle, it's not gonna give you any garbage animations. I'm not timing them perfect because I'm talking while I'm doing it, and obviously I'm not like focused. But as you can see, like they're giving good flick up animations every single time. But yeah, so long story short, if you're doing those running floaters where you're gonna run in, make sure you're letting go of your right trigger while you're doing this. Obviously, if you hold RT, it's gonna be a dunk clearly, like I just did right there. So don't want to do that. Not to mention, I don't even like doing the running floaters if you're this close, because you will sometimes get that bad running hook when you come in this far. So what I would rather do, as you're gonna see, is I'm gonna just walk into it, like I'm gonna run into it, but then I'm gonna stop and hold back on my left stick and hold X. That's what I would prefer to do in those close range floaters, and I'll be able to just make sure it's a contained, like, you know, speed. I'm not gonna accidentally do some crazy floater or anything like that. So anyway, that's all. We've gone over everything, the dribble moves, the floaters, the dunks, everything, all that stuff. I will also say Sabonis is pretty good at transitioning into these hops and spins and stuff like that. I'm a big fan of this, and if you guys are able to grind for it for starter 3, it's a big deal, but Jokic is still okay, for sure. But anyway, between all those dribble moves, I definitely think this is a pretty credible source of some very good like things to add to your game if you're a 6'10", or just in general a big man trying to dribble the ball, and especially a slasher too. So anyway, that's all for video. Appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, put Sabonis in the comments to show your support to me all the way through, or you could just put Lay as well if you would like. But anyway, that's all for video. Appreciate you guys for watching, and that takes you, man. Peace.